While studying vapor-liquid equilibrium concepts, we had seen temperature XY diagram, we had seen pressure XY diagram, and we had also seen the equilibrium curve, which was the XY diagram. And we had also seen how we can analyze an operation in these XY diagrams. We had seen the analysis of flash vaporization operation. We had also seen analysis of continuous rectification of binary mixtures using McCabe theorem on XY plot. So we are going to see another class of diagram here, which is called as the enthalpy concentration diagram. This enthalpy concentration diagram, they are going to be similar to our temperature XY diagram, where they are plotted for binary mixtures at constant pressure. The y-axis will be the enthalpy and the x-axis is the composition. So the composition, it is given in terms of the mole fractions x and y on x-axis, and on y-axis enthalpy is plotted in terms of kilojoule per kilomole, and we are going to get two plots here similar to our txy diagram, where we were getting one plot was tx plot, another was ty plot. So we will get one HLX plot and HGY plot. So this HL refers to the enthalpy of saturated liquid and Hg refers to the enthalpy of saturated vapor. So enthalpy of saturated liquid is plotted against X, which is the mole fraction of the more volatile component in liquid phase, and enthalpy of saturated vapor is plotted against Y, which is the mole fraction of more volatile component in vapor phase. How to find out these enthalpies? So liquid solution enthalpy we will get as the heat content of the liquid solution is Cp delta T. So Cp values, they are generally given in terms of mass. So it is kilojoule per kg degree Kelvin. So to convert that to moles, we multiply this by molecular weight. So for the solution, we will multiply this Cp by average molecular weight of the solution, and this delta T is the difference in the bubble point of the mixture and the reference temperature. This reference temperature may be taken as 273 degree Kelvin. Plus there is one more term added if the solution is non-ideal, and this term is called as the heat of solution. So this heat of solution is positive when heat is absorbed by the solution, and it is negative when heat is evolved while mixing. So for ideal solutions, this heat of solution is 0. Enthalpy of saturated vapor we are going to find. Now we had liquid solution enthalpy, we had considered Cp multiplied by delta T, the difference in temperature, when it was in liquid phase only. So now here there is a transformation to vapor phase, so we will add another term for latent heat of vaporization. So let us say that we have a binary mixture of component A and B, and A is more volatile component. So we will find out the heat content or the enthalpy of component A, which is Cp delta T plus latent heat of vaporization of component A. This is multiplied by mole fraction of component A, plus Cp delta T of component B plus latent heat of vaporization of component B multiplied by the mole fraction of component B. Okay, so this will give the saturated vapor enthalpy. Hg we can get. So then we can plot Hgy values and Hgx values. So how does this enthalpy concentration diagram look? So we have enthalpy on y-axis, mole fraction x and y on x-axis, and then we plot HLX. So this is enthalpy of saturated liquid versus X, and we plot HGY. This is enthalpy of saturated vapor versus Y. So HL, it represents liquid at its bubble point, or it is a saturated liquid curve, and Hg represents the vapor at its dew point, or it is saturated vapor curve. So this is saturated liquid curve, this is saturated vapor curve. Below saturated liquid we have subcooled liquid, above saturated vapor we have superheated vapor. In this region between saturated liquid and vapor we have a mixture of saturated liquid and vapor. What will be this distance? Will be this. We have a binary mixture, and x and y represents the mole fraction of more volatile component. X and y increases in this direction, so the more volatile component composition increases in this direction. We have pure more volatile component here when x and y values are 1, and the more volatile component is 0 over here. Then that means we have the less volatile component in pure form over here. The other component is pure. Right? In between this 0 and 1 value of x and y, we have mixture of the two components. So we have pure more volatile component in this place, and we have composition of pure less volatile component in this place. And this difference, which is the difference between the enthalpy of saturated liquid and enthalpy of saturated vapor. So that means we are converting this saturated liquid or liquid at its bubble point to a saturated vapor or vapor at its dew point. So what is the energy that we supply? We supply the latent heat of vaporization. So on this side where x and y values are 0, this will be the latent heat of vaporization of less volatile component. Okay. So this is the latent heat of vaporization of less volatile component. And there is a molecular weight of that component because we have to convert this heat of vaporization to moles in terms of moles. So it will be kilojoule per kilomole. On the other side, it will be the latent heat of vaporization of the pure component. So any vertical line in these intermediate points of x and y will represent the latent heat of vaporization of the mixture. What about this inclined line? So this line joins the saturated liquid curve and saturated vapor curve. At saturated liquid we have point P, at saturated vapor we have point Q. So we can consider it as there is a stream of a saturated liquid. So we have P moles per unit time of saturated liquid, and there is another stream which is Q moles per unit time of saturated vapor. So these two streams are mixed. So when they are mixed, the resulting mixture is M. The composition of this mixture is Zm. Okay, so saturated liquid and saturated vapor streams are mixed. Resulting mixture is M. Its composition is Zm. So we can represent this on XY diagram as we have Y and X, and the diagonal line. This diagonal line represents X equal to Y compositions. And we have equilibrium plot, Y star versus X. So P represents the composition of saturated liquid. So liquid will be represented by X. So I will drop down a line on X axis to get this composition. Q represents the composition of the vapor. So I will come to x equal to y line, and then I will go to y axis because it is the mole fraction of the vapor there, and I will get the vapor phase composition. So here we see that the x composition and y composition, they are intersecting at a point, and this point, it lies on equilibrium curve. This point, it lies on the equilibrium curve. What does it mean? It means that the vapor phase and the liquid phase, they are in equilibrium, right? So this vapor phase and this liquid phase compositions are the equilibrium compositions. We can also analyze this process as, let us say that we have a stream which is a mixture of vapor and liquid, and that gets separated into two other streams, P and Q, and these two streams, they have their compositions in equilibrium. Okay, so we have m moles of vapor and liquid, we separate them into vapor phase and liquid phase, and this vapor phase is in equilibrium with this liquid phase. Okay, so that operation, it can be represented by a line over here, okay, which is line PQ, and this equilibrium composition on HXY diagram, which is represented as a line over here, is represented as a point on equilibrium curve or YX diagram. On HXY diagram, this is represented as a line. On YX diagram, this is represented as a point. Okay, so all these points on equilibrium curve, they represent equilibrium compositions, right? So this is the locus of all the compositions which are in equilibrium. So any of this point or the equilibrium composition, it can be translated as a line on HXY diagram. Okay, so this line which represents equilibrium composition is represented as a point. So I can draw any of these points, I can represent any of these points on the equilibrium curve as a line on HXY diagram. Okay, and what are these lines which have the equilibrium compositions? What are these lines called as? Do you recall your TXY diagram? In TXY diagram, we had represented the equilibrium composition at a given temperature by a line which we called as the tie lines, right? So these tie lines, they were drawn at a particular temperature and they represented equilibrium vapor and liquid compositions. So same way, this line PQ, it represents the equilibrium composition. It is a tie line. Okay, and this tie line is represented as a point on XY diagram. Okay, so composition of P is XP, composition of Q is YQ, XP and YQ, they are equilibrium compositions, and PQ is a tie line. Overall balance is P plus Q is equal to M. So we can say P moles of saturated liquid plus Q moles of saturated vapor, it gives the M moles of the mixture. Or if it is a continuous operation, there is a stream, P moles per unit time of saturated liquid, it mixes with Q moles of saturated vapor per unit time, it gives a mixture of M moles per unit time. Component balance, we can write PXP plus QYQ is MZM. Enthalpy balance is PHP plus QHQ is equal to MHM. So enthalpy we read from the y-axis. So this is HP, enthalpy of P. This is HM, enthalpy of mixture M, and enthalpy of Q we are going to read from here, and this will be HQ. Okay. So there is no external other source of heat which is added here, or nothing. There is no heat which is removed from here, so there is no other heat terms. So from 1, 2 and 3 we can write P by Q is YQ minus Zm by Zm minus XP is HQ minus Hm is equal by Hm minus HP. Okay. So what does it mean? If I use equation 1 and 2, that means for M, which is P plus Q, I substitute P plus Q in this place and I get this ratio P by Q. I will get YQ minus Zm by Zm minus XP. Okay. So P is over here, Q is over here, this is the other end. So there is a line whose two endpoints are, one end is P, other end is Q. In between there is a point which is M. Okay. YQ minus Zm is this end of the line, and Zm minus XP is this end of the line. So P by Q is this P, this end divided by Q, which is this end. It is P side is balanced by MQ, which is YQ minus Zm, and Q side is balanced by Zm minus XP. Okay. So we can get the amounts of P and Q. So moles of P by moles of Q I can get in terms of this length of the line divided by this length of the line, right? Similarly for enthalpies, if I substitute P plus Q in this M and I find out what is P by Q, I will get HQ minus HM by HM minus HP. Okay, HQ minus HM by HM minus HP. So this moles of P by moles of Q, it will be moles of P will be balanced by this side of the line, moles of P is balanced by this side of the line, moles of Q is balanced by the opposite span of the line. Okay, so this is called as a lever rule. So from the lever rule, with the span of these lines, we can find out what are the quantities of the two streams. Okay, the amount of the two streams we can determine using the lever rule. Alright, so in any of these analysis where we have a line whose endpoints are P and Q and an intermediate point is M, the relation between P and Q we can write in terms of lever rule. It is not just P by Q, we can write what is Q by P, we can also write what will be P by M, we can write what is Q by M, we can write what is M by P, what is M by Q, all those things we can do it in terms of the lever rule. Right? So M can be obtained by adding P and Q, or I can obtain Q by subtracting P from M. Correct? I can get Q by subtracting P from M. So Q is M minus P. So this is a saturated vapor. I can get saturated vapor if I remove this saturated liquid from this mixture of saturated vapor and liquid. Okay, this is a mixture of vapor and liquid. I remove the saturated liquid, I will get the saturated vapor, moles of saturated vapor. Okay, or alternately I can get P by removing Q from M. Okay, so from this mixture of vapor and liquid, if I remove saturated vapor, I will get the saturated liquid. Right, so we can do like this. Alright, so now we will see the operation of flash vaporization, how it can be represented on enthalpy concentration diagram. This we had seen earlier on XY diagram. Right. So how we had analyzed this operation earlier? So we have a mixture, a feed mixture. This gets separated into a vapor phase and a liquid phase. Right. So F moles of feed enters, it gets separated into D moles of vapor product and W moles of the residue or the bottom product. This vapor product is in equilibrium with the liquid product. So that was the equilibrium flash vaporization operation. This was a single stage operation. Okay. So it can be represented as a line over here, which is a tie line, because this tie line represents the equilibrium composition. Right. And this is translated as a single point on equilibrium curve, which gives the equilibrium vapor composition and the residue composition. Next up. Alright, so this was the operation. We have feed entering. So this composition is ZF, its enthalpy is HF. All these terms are in terms of mole. Then we have the heat supplied to this feed mixture. This is in terms of kilojoule per hour, and then this mixture pressure is reduced so that it gets converted into vapor and liquid phase, and this vapor and liquid are separated in a drum called as a flash drum. So this is a single stage operation where the separation happens. The top product, we are getting D moles of the vapor, we are getting W moles of the residue. The vapor phase composition is in equilibrium with the liquid phase composition. Okay, so this is represented by this line over here. This is the feed composition. ZF is the feed composition. And if you recall the flash vaporization operation, how we represented on XY diagram, we represented it as a line whose slope was minus W by D. Correct? Minus W by D slope, which is delta Y by delta X. Delta Y is YD minus ZF, and delta X is XW minus ZF. This is minus W by D. This is the operating line for flash vaporization on XY diagram. On HXY diagram, the operating line is, this is the operating line on HXY diagram. Okay, so let us see the balances. Overall balance is feed. It gets separated into D and W. Component balance is, this is the component A, FZF. In top product, this component A is D into YD, and in bottom product, this component is W into XW. Enthalpy balance is FHF plus Q. We are adding an energy source Q here. So many kilojoules per hour is getting added over here. So the units are consistent. So F is multiplied with HF. This also will give you in terms of kilojoule per hour. Okay, so FHF plus Q is DHD plus WHW. Okay, so this is the input energy, and this is the energy of the output streams. Okay, if I consider equation 1 and 2, that is substitute for F, which is D plus W over here. Okay, substitute D and W here and get in terms of minus W by D. If I arrange it, I will get YD minus ZF by XW minus ZF. Okay, so minus W by D is this is YD minus ZF by XW minus ZF, right? This is the operating line. In terms of enthalpy, if I substitute equation 1 for F, which is d plus W over here, d plus W over here, and rearrange in terms of minus W by d, I will get HD minus HF, HD minus HF plus Q by F by XW, HW minus HF plus Q by F. Okay. So this is HW, the enthalpy of stream W, and this is HD, enthalpy of stream D. So let us say that we have the feed stream with this HF as the enthalpy, and we have added the enthalpy to this as another Q by F, so it becomes HF plus Q by F. Okay, so that is minus W by D. It is represented as HD minus W by D. W by D, it is represented as HD minus, W is this side in numerator, so W is in numerator, so it will be balanced by this end, which is HD minus HF plus Q by F. Okay, and D is this side in denominator, so this D is balanced by HW minus HF plus Q by F. Okay, lever rule, our lever rule, right? So this is the operating line on HXY diagram for flash vaporization, and this is the operating line for flash vaporization in XY plot. Next, we will see another important concept that we are going to use in Ponchon-Savarett method of analysis, that is called as a difference point. So we have HXY diagram and YX diagram, and let us draw a line. So this line is intersecting at HLX point, HGY point, and it extends in superheated region further. So P1 is the point on saturated liquid, Q1 is the point on saturated vapor curve, and the other end is, let us say this is called as the delta point. Okay, so if I apply the earlier analogy what we had considered, we stated that this is a line and the two endpoints, if it represents the two streams which are mixed to get an intermediate point on this line, then we can say that P1 moles is mixed with delta moles, it is going to give us Q1 moles. Okay, so P1 moles of saturated liquid plus delta moles of superheated vapor stream, it is going, when they are mixed, it is going to give us Q1 moles of saturated vapor stream. Or alternately, I can also say that if I remove P1 moles of saturated liquid from Q1 moles of saturated vapor adiabatically, okay, by condensing it, I will get delta moles of superheated vapor, right? So I can get delta by subtracting P1 from Q1, right? So I can get P1 plus delta is Q1, okay, or I can get delta by subtracting P1 from Q1 in an adiabatic operation. So this delta I can also get by subtracting P2 from Q2. So there is another line which represents the other two more streams. So P2 is one stream and Q2 is another stream. Okay, and delta is this common stream. So P2 plus delta is going to give us Q2, or if I remove P2 from Q2, I will get this delta. So delta I can get from this operation also. Okay, if I subtract, I can condense this saturated liquid P2 from the saturated vapor Q2 adiabatically, I can get this delta. Or I can get this delta in P3, Q3 stream in that composition and that enthalpies also. Okay. So I can do it in any fashion. So here I can say this delta, which is obtained by the difference of Q3 and P3, it can be obtained in several ways. Okay, or there are different we can conduct this operation in different ways to get this delta value. So delta is, we will say, it is a fictitious stream. It represents the net flow which is obtained by removing saturated liquid by condensing from a saturated vapor under adiabatic condition. Okay, so this is a fictitious stream representing a net flow which is obtained by removing one of the streams from the other. Now can this be represented on XY plot? Let us see. So Q3, it is on HGY curve, so it will represent Y composition. I will bring it to x equal to y line and go to y axis and take y value. Okay, and P3 is the point on x axis. I will drop it down to x axis. Okay, the intersection of these two lines is going to give me this Thailand value on yx. It is not on this line, on this yx curve. It is not a tie line because tie line gives equilibrium compositions. So this is an operation. This operation is P3Q3 operation. This is represented as a point on XY curve. Okay. So those compositions of P3 and Q3 are represented on XY curve by this green point. Similarly, Q2 and P2 point can be represented as another point on XY curve. Okay, so take Y values on Y axis, X value on X axis, and you will get this operation. Similarly, for this P1 Q1, I can get how that operation or that compositions are represented on XY curve. Okay, all these points, they are going to give me a locus of these points on XY axis. Okay, so these lines which are representing some operation on HXY diagram, they are transformed as a locus of points on XY diagram. And if I join these locus of points, I will get a curve or a plot. Right? So in XY diagram, I am getting a plot. Okay, which is similar to our, one of the plots that we get in McCabe-Thiele. Now, does this remind of a certain plot that we saw in McCabe-Thiele? This is similar to the enriching section plot. Yeah, we will see that in more detail in Ponchon-Savarett method. Now, what happens to this plot if this delta point is moved up? If I move this difference point up, delta point up, then these P1 Q1, P2 Q2, P3 Q3 lines, they will become more vertical, right? So as they become more vertical, the difference in compositions will reduce. That means the difference in y value and x value will reduce, or y and x value will become closer because the line is becoming vertical, right? So if this delta goes to an infinite point, infinitely high point, all these lines P1 Q1, P2 Q2, P3 Q3, they will become vertical lines. Vertical line means x value is equal to y value. Okay, x equal to x value is equal to y value. Where is this x equal to y value? X equal to y value is this line, x equal to y value, right? So if this delta goes to infinity, the locus of this point, which is the black line, this black line, it will come to x equal to y line, right? So our operating line, it is coinciding with x equal to y line. When did it happen? Just recall it. We will see this again in detail in Ponchon's average method. Let us take up an exercise on plotting enthalpy concentration diagram for a binary mixture. The binary mixture is of benzene and toluene are the components. So benzene here is more volatile component. We are given the VLE data for this mixture. So at different temperatures, what is the equilibrium X and Y compositions are given. Then we are given the enthalpy of vaporization of the two components in kilojoule per kilomole, and we are given the specific heat of the two components in kilojoule per kilomole degree Kelvin, and the boiling points are given. So we will first generate enthalpy of saturated liquid and X data. So we have the temperatures and the corresponding X values. Then enthalpy of saturated liquid is evaluated as Cp multiplied by delta D, and this Cp is the weighted average of the specific heat. So here the Cp average is calculated as X multiplied by Cp of benzene. So this is X of benzene, the more volatile component, plus this is mole fraction of toluene multiplied by Cp of toluene. So X is 0 here for benzene. So 0 into 138, which is the given Cp of benzene, plus the other component, which is toluene. Toluene is 1 into the Cp of toluene, which is 168 Kelvin. So this value works out to be 168. Similarly, for the other X values, you substitute and get the values of Cp average. Then the difference in temperature, which is the difference in the bubble point minus the reference temperature. The reference temperature here, it is taken as 273.15 degree Kelvin. So the temperatures are, these are the temperatures given, minus 273.15 degree Kelvin. So this gives you the delta T. So enthalpy of saturated liquid is Cp average multiplied by this delta T. So you get these values in terms of kilojoule per kilomole. So we have obtained enthalpy of saturated liquid and we have the X value. So this is the HLX. So we can plot HLX here. Next, let us generate enthalpy of saturated vapor and Y data. So this is the temperature and the corresponding Y values. So delta T is the dew point temperature minus the reference temperature. So this is the temperature and the reference temperature is 273.15 degree Kelvin. So you are getting this as the delta T. So enthalpy of saturated vapor is the mole fraction of the more volatile component in vapor phase multiplied by Cp delta T of component, which is more volatile, plus latent heat of vaporization of more volatile component, plus the mole fraction of the other component, which is toluene here, multiplied by Cp delta T of toluene plus latent heat of vaporization of toluene. So when you substitute Y, for the first value the Y is 0, Cp is 138, delta T evaluated is 110.85, plus latent heat of benzene is 30,800, which is given, plus 1, which is the mole fraction of toluene in vapor phase, multiplied by Cp of toluene, which is 168, multiplied by delta T, which is 110.85, plus the latent heat of vaporization of toluene. So this value, it works out to be 51,922.8 kilojoule per kilomole. Similarly, you substitute the Y values and the corresponding delta T values, the specific heat values and the latent heat of vaporization values, you will get enthalpy of saturated vapor. Okay, so these are the Hg values and these are the Y values. So we can plot Hg Y values. So this is the table. Finally, we are getting X value, the corresponding HL value, the Y value, corresponding HG values. Plot HGY and HL X plots. Okay. So y-axis is enthalpy, x-axis is mole fraction. So this is your HLX plot, this is your HGY plot.